Here we have a steam engine and tender and 6 cars that have been completely restored and are in great shape for tourists to come take a look at them.
Ties to the past are part of the draw that people have for coming to see the train, as well as more broad history of not just personal stories, but the development of the region and actually the development of our country when trains in between the 1800s and the mid-1900s, trains were super important for the development of industry and the industrial age and prosperity finally being able to be achieved after the devastation of the Civil War. People didn't have private transportation to get to places, so the train was how you got from one city to another, better than hooking up your horse to the wagon and taking 2 days to get to Greenville. But the other piece was the business part that trains affected or enabled. And Greenwood was a big-time textile town, and we needed a way, or the mills needed a way to get materials in, and they especially needed a way to get the materials to the market. The trains made it easy and economical to move vast amounts of material in a short amount of time.
Initially, this was a private collection. There were 2 gentlemen from Greenwood that just decided they wanted to have a train. They began collecting cars in 1969. They bought the steam engine, which was built in 1905, and ran up until the 60s. And they brought it in and then began collecting the other cars. These were maintained as a private collection in about 2000. And it was upon the death of Mr. L.B. Adams, the collection was turned over to the city. The city really didn't want to take on the renovation project, and they donated it to the museum, who has taken that up. The city's been very helpful to us in getting grant money to restore the cars.
People love to come see, experience an elegant dinner on our dining car, and we've had murder mystery plays with 2 of them. We had one on the Oriental Express, which was actually the Greenwood Express. Modified. We did a slightly different version the second year, and those were tremendously popular and enjoyed immensely by the attendees.
We begin the tour by taking the group onto the steam engine and explaining the operation of that. Then we go into the passenger cars, and they are all complete, and it's kind of unique that they tour the interior of the cars. Some museums don't permit tourists to go on the train, but we think that's an important part of the tour. The next car that you go through is a Seaboard Pullman passenger car, and it has been renovated and seats 74 passengers. The diner car that's attached to it ran on the Erie-Lackawanna Railroad. The next car is a sleeper car, and it's also made by the Pullman Corporation. And it has 3 different classes of sleeping. There are individual compartments, compartments for 2, compartments for 4, and then a general area that was used for the train staff. The car that we're sitting in was the executive car for the Piedmont Northern Railroad executives. The caboose that we have, of course, cabooses were used on freight trains, not passenger trains. The reason we have it in the collection is it was a Piedmont and Northern vehicle. So we have 3 of those vehicles, and of course the tie to Greenwood because they actually travel from here. The Seaboard passenger car, of course, the Seaboard Railroad came through here, and it's likely that that car traveled through Greenwood and provided passenger service.
For the future, we are going to build a replica of the Southern Passenger Depot that was on the square in Greenwood, and we are going to build it on the grounds here. And we are very excited about being able to add this piece to the whole tableau of our train.
I guess my favorite part of giving a tour is just to see the delight, especially on the kids that come through, and their fascination by what they're seeing for the first time.
Well, one thing they do talk about is that the tour was fabulous. We get a lot of comments about how good our tour guides are and how much they enjoyed learning all this stuff about the train. Had no idea of a lot of the things they learned. They had no idea about. I had one lady come through and she said, I have been to many train museums and I have never seen one that was as well done as your interior of your cars. And so I thought that was notable too. It's really a nice experience that we provide for our visitors. We have the largest static restored train in the area. It's historically significant. It's also a beautiful sight just to see the train cars themselves. And if you want a different experience, our train museum will give it to you.